The SMX Insider Post Race Show presented by Bass Pro Shops. 19th race of the Monster Energy SMX World Championship season is the second Pro Motocross round on what is now a brutally rough and tumble Hangtown in Northern California. I don't know if I can say things have changed, or actually they didn't change at all. Maybe they changed compared to they were last week. The big takeaway is that Jett Lawrence is back on top after not quite panic, not quite alarm, but maybe some concern as he returned to racing from injury last week, and that he wasn't quite the same. He erased a lot of those concerns here. I'm sure he's still hurting with the ankle injury. But first place trophies make it feel a little better.
They help a lot. As Hunter, second place right here. And, you know, again, I still feel the same way about Jett. I think his biggest thing is the recovery. You know, how is he starting able to ride during the week? And this track, I mean, he looked a lot more comfortable as he's holding up the trophy. That feels good, but he looked more comfortable when he got on this racetrack. And he kind of mentioned maybe some of the soils and how it played out helped his foot. The guy rode great. He was the best guy here, but the challenge really comes, different tracks, different soils. How next weekend with the ruts, you know, you start getting to some of these deeper racetracks, and you know, on Hunter's side, man, he rode great. Those two have basically pulled away from everybody else, really solidified that they're 1 and 2. And if I'm Hunter, he looked like he was struggling today, like compared to last weekend. Jett's bike looked better. Hunter looked like he struggled. Next week, who knows? And then you bring over the Coonan brothers, so a lot of things going to change week to week.
That's the one thing that never changes in Pro Motocross. Best podiums in all of racing. Hold on, everybody.
Never.
Jett takes the high road there.
I was thinking, like, he probably wouldn't jump down there anyway. So,
ouch
with his foot, but
yep. At least Hunter was able to get out of there.
Yeah.
Animals, they say. Shout out to Pro SXMX Tech, the mechanics school. That's where all 3 mechanics, by the way, that were on the podium in the 250 class, the mechanics for the Lawrence brothers went. That's a training program for these mechanics in Morgantown, West Virginia. Proud alumni there. And a debrief here with the brothers. 25 overall wins and 29 starts in this class.
Rough weekend last weekend. Is he
only third?
Is he human? He finished on the podium.
I know. That is really, maybe that says it all.
Yeah. That's why I go back to what I said. We're talking right now, but that's what impresses me about this guy, the pressure.
Hey everyone, welcome aboard with the post-race show presented by Bass Pro Shops. He's James Stewart, I'm Jason Wygant. He's the one that won a bunch of championships here. Look, we've joked now that when you've had days where you came back from injury or switched teams, that on the outside, we always said, it's James Stewart. What do we expect? You've now explained that internally it's a lot harder than you make it look. So you're probably one of the few that can understand what that might actually mean for Jett Lawrence to do this.
Yeah, and that's probably what makes me really appreciate what he's doing outside of just the riding. I mean, anybody can watch Jett ride and appreciate on the motorcycle, but I appreciate the Monday through Saturday, Friday, all that, and just knowing that there's no off days. And I know when I retire, it wasn't physically, it wasn't anything. I was just exhausted from trying to be at that level of always expecting to win. And this guy's how young he is, he's taking it up a notch. And to me, there was no, let's get into it, feel it out. We saw how that went. He felt it out last weekend, got 3rd place, and we were asking, like, hey, man, is he human?
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And he goes back to work. So it's the week that he goes, and that really impresses me by both these guys, but really Jett Lawrence.
Here's a highlight, second Pro Motocross round of the year. Monster Energy SMX World Championship, the traditional opening ceremony at Hangtown in Northern California. The painted ladies out there on the horses, and the riders hop on their horses. Highly anticipated round 2 for the 450 class. Jett Lawrence, the number 1, was the fastest qualifier. Is that a sign that he has stepped up? As he comes into the season injured, 3rd at the opener a week ago. Well, it starts with a good start, and he nailed it in the first race.
Well, when you come off practice being that much faster than everybody else, and then you whole shot things, you just got to feel like it's my day. Track being a little bit smoother. You had Hayden Deegan, Hunter Lawrence, Jorge Prado, all these guys was right behind him. The first mistake comes from Aaron Plessinger. Now, hate to be breaking news here, but he had a rough day. Aaron AP, a rough year so far. Gets back on the track, but that's kind of how his year's been going. And then the next one, Chase Sexton, early in the moto, goes down, loses the front end, gets back up, makes his way back up inside the top 10, but then goes down again. But it was Hunter Lawrence having to basically set his sights on Hayden Deegan. Jett Lawrence was able to ride away. Hunter Lawrence stalked him for about 25 minutes and just ended up getting around him. Hayden Deegan is not going to let anybody just ride around him as he tries to go in. A little bump, little love tap right here. But Hunter Lawrence was able to hold on and pull away. And then the big move for the championship was last lap, Jorge Prado running 4th place, a distant 4th place, but unfortunately for him, he's going to get 0 points. And for a guy that's looking for a championship to compete against this guy, Hunter Lawrence, that was a big blow for his championship. But doing what we've been seeing his whole career when he's out there healthy, Jett Lawrence winning another race here in Pro Motocross.
Yeah, we don't know exactly how healthy he is, but it sure looks like the same old, same old. We go to Moto 2. Now there's a big crash. Plessinger goes flying over the handlebars and starts a first turn crash. Caught on the inside is going to be Cooper Webb on the number 2.
Yeah, tough break for Cooper Webb, you know, going down, but even tougher break for his teammate. This is the opening lap. You're going to watch Mikhail Harp go down. Justin Cooper hits him and goes down really hard. Now, we know he's up and awake, but where he was, we had to red flag it, make sure precaution. And then it was Cooper Webb hole shotting, and Jett Lawrence. What we didn't show was Hunter Lawrence was ahead of Jett Lawrence that first one, and the roles were reversed here, and that was really pivotal on how the race came out. Jett Lawrence was in front of his brother, and those two was able to go 1-2 after Hunter Lawrence makes a pass around Cooper Webb.
Yeah, Hunter would quickly follow his brother around Webb, and then Webb under fire from Sexton.
Yep, Chase Sexton, you can see Jett Lawrence and Hunter Lawrence right in front of him. Chase moves his way up, and fortunate for him, watching those guys pull away brings guys like Hayden Deegan, because it's hard for Chase to race forward when he doesn't have anybody to chase with him. You can't see him. Hayden Deegan rode great the second moto. 2 bad starts in the restart and then this one, but he was able to make his way up and now starting to solidify himself as the 3rd guy in this field behind those two, and only get better, but nobody was better than this guy today.
And that says it all. Back in the victory lane just 1 week after returning to racing with what is considered a potentially career-threatening injury. Last year was a torn ACL, but that's never not serious, but it's something we've seen many athletes in many sports bounce back from. The talus bone and the ankle, much more difficult. And just like that, he's a winner again over his brother Hunter, who goes 2-2, and Hayden Deegan up on the podium on a 450 for the first time in Pro Motocross. But he's got some work to do to catch those brothers who put it to him in the first moto. Ferranda's going to finish 4th. That is the best so far for Ducati, just jumping into Pro Motocross for the first time this year. And Garrett Marchbanks was solid last week, solid this week, and that's going to be 5th overall. Some bad luck for a lot of others. Sexton with those crashes, he ends up 7th overall. But you mentioned in that highlight, it's really Jorge Prado who takes the big hit in the championship points. Not in the top 10 in Moto 2 after the bad start. The bike problems in Moto 1. And to think, he was trying to get Deegan late in Moto 1. Think of how different the day could have been for Prado. Instead, he's 41 points down.
Yeah, it's a huge blow for KTM with Eli being out and in this. So, yeah, hopefully he can rebound. He's going to need it next weekend.
Oh, the emotional roller coaster for these teams. I'll tell you what, KTM has been through it this year, highs and lows, no doubt. We'll show you the combined points, SMX together, that's Supercross and Motocross. It's Hunter Lawrence over Webb. The idle Supercross champion Ken Roczen still ranked 3rd. Not sure when we'll get Justin Cooper back on track, maybe next weekend, don't know about that yet. And Sexton, Tomac, not sure when he's going to be back, hopefully before Pro Motocross is complete. So there's going to be a lot of changes in those standings. Expect to see Jett Lawrence and Hayden Deegan starting to move up the rankings after they did not score points because they didn't race 450s in Supercross. So that's the 450 division. That's the story there from up top. Send it back down to the track with Jason Thomas.
Well, thank you, Jason. And listen, it took all day. It was my first report of the morning. I said, this beautiful racetrack, it's not going to be so beautiful, and I apologize. I'm squinting because I'm staring right at the sun right now, but the sun is what did all this damage. look how hard pack it's finally gotten. And this, in essence, is Hangtown. This is what it's been since inception, going back 40, 50 years ago. It's rock hard. The base turns into what turns into concrete by the end of the day. And they do such a great job of bringing soil in, but all that soil gets blown off. And at the end of the day, you could just see the riders battling the conditions, trying to find traction, trying to stay in the softer dirt. But in the end, this is what it gets down to: blue groove, hard pack. And this is Hangtown. Love it or don't, it's always going to be the same by 5 o'clock on race day.
Well, elevate your SMX race day with a truly immersive fan experience designed to put you closer to the action than ever before. There are VIP packages available to bring fans inside the sport, go behind the scenes at the most crucial races of the season, and experience premium hospitality and exclusive access in one of the many VIP experiences offered. Go to smxexperiences.com for details on how you can be an SMX VIP. Another set of standings to show you here. That is the manufacturer points, combining 250 and 450 together early in the Pro Motocross leg of the SMX World Championship. Honda with a small gap over Yamaha, and Kawasaki been crushing it in the 250 class. And we'll see how it goes for them in the 450s as this season rolls on. When you combine it all together, Honda has a slight gap over Kawasaki and Yamaha right there as well. What might have been for KTM if Prado hadn't had the problems and Tomac hadn't had the crash. But there's a long way to go in the manufacturer's points as well. Set it down to Katie, who moments ago caught up to the Honda team manager, Lars Lindstrom.
Catching up with Lars Lindstrom here, who you're overseeing a team that at the beginning of the season, kind of there was some question marks. How is Hunter going to recover from Supercross, and what was Jett going to be like coming into outdoors after the injury? How satisfied are you with the result thus far?
I mean, you can't be more satisfied than that, right? Like watching them go 1-2, battling, and Hunter just sending it, trying to make a pass and get the overall. It was really, really fun to watch. And I mean, coming into the series, I was pretty confident that we would be up there. You know, there's so many question marks with the other guys. I think, you know, Hayden is probably right where we expected him to be, maybe even a little bit better. He's riding really well, and then. But, you know, having the two brothers battle, I knew that Hunter would be really hungry to come back from the Supercross loss. So, and then Jett had a lot to prove too. So with all the noise going on, you know, but that injury was real, the real deal, you know. So everything that he's done to prepare for that, and I think this weekend he's just a little bit better than last weekend, maybe a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more calm about what he's going to do. We practice starts, got those down. We got an extra try at that, and hopefully. Hopefully that Justin Cooper's okay, and but yeah, I mean, 2 starts, 2 whole shots for both of them, and going back and forth. It was enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, it was superb. It was really like the true racing that we all want to see, and it was a big surprise. I know the question mark was, what was the big difference maker, and is there anything else that wasn't maybe off the bike that Jett changed here in this week?
I don't think so. I think it was just, you know, he was in California this week instead of being home in Florida, so he's able to be with Doc G this week and actually get the hands-on that, you know, treatment that he got the first couple months before he was able to go back and start training. So maybe that helps. I mean, I think probably having one real race under his belt, you know, where you're riding at home and you can kind of control the conditions a lot. Last week you're in the mix, you know, you're in a fight, and a lot of times you don't get to do what you want. It doesn't go your way all the time. So I think he put his foot through the ringer then, and then that probably loosened some stuff up. That's my guess, you know. And so that's probably just another week, too, for him to be recovering.
Thank you for your insights, and well done to you and the team.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Highlights of the 250 class. This is round 2 of Pro Motocross Monster Energy SMX World Championship. Seth Hamaker comes in with the red plate points lead after going 2-1 and getting his first Pro Motocross win at the previous round at Fox Raceway in Southern California. And a lot of it came down to he's pretty good off the start, and here's proof.
Yeah, we know the Monster Energy Pro Circuit, they've been working on the stars for the past couple of years. Seems like they're starting to figure that out. And after last weekend, the questions were, was this real? What Seth? Could he back that up? We know he always had the pace, but this opening moto as Cole Davies goes down, and that's going to be pretty key on how this overall is going to end up working for him, and ends up struggling towards the end, has some bike problems. But it was Joe Shimoda, not the best to start, but better start, making his way up as he gets past Nick Romano for 3rd place, and he was going to set his sights on Julian Vermeer as Levi Kitchen starts making his way up, going to do the same thing than Nick as well. But it was going to come down to those two, between Joe Shimoda, Levi, and then Julian Vermeer for 2nd place overall. Joe makes the pass on the outside, nice pass. I believe Joe rode great all day long, just a bad start going down that first one and the second one, but nonetheless, Levi Kitchen showing just what we saw last weekend, that he has a little bit of speed to burn, and took a little bit to get started in that first moto, but once he got going, he was able to get it past his teammate, and then same lap, get up the inside of Joe Shimoda, and then hold on for 2nd place. But Seth was way out front here in this first moto, and kind of answered some of the questions we were wondering. Is this legit? He kind of showed us, at least with him, he has the speed and has the consistency, at least his first moto, to win these races easily. Yeah,
so now looking at starting the year, Hamaker with 2-1-1 moto scores. He had never even won a moto in Pro Motocross before, but Moto 2, it unwinds.
Yeah, I mean, coming here, Hangtown, all these riders know that first corner speed, everybody kind of pinches off, and you can see Seth got clipped on the inside. He wanted to beat the guy on the inside, goes in, hits the guys on the outside, ends up going back to the inside, really caused both these pileups, and that was a key moment of this race because he was down in the first corner along with the Honda guys as well. But it was Cole Davies, pole shot out front in front of Deacon Dino, the rookie, and man, Cole was just a different rider out front. Levi Kitchen is going to make his way up, a little bit more aggressive this second moto than he was the first one, but nonetheless he was able to get past Deacon for 3rd place, and you can see his teammate right in front of him, Nick Romano, who rode great by the way, but Levi just had a little bit more pace, and then he was able to get up, and basically this pace was going to solidify the overall for him, and going 2-2 for the overall today. But Cole Davies was a little farther out front. Seth did a great job minimizing the points. He started the race with the points lead, lost, was able to come up there and lead as Julian Vermeer going to make a pass against Nick Romano and ends up on the podium with that pass. So everybody did well, top 3 in this race, all accomplished something. And then this was what I was mentioning with Seth. Get up, going down, tough break, ripped jersey, still fighting, ends up inside the top 10, but really what that does, I think it just solidifies that he's legit, and now that first corner cost him this race, but Seth is going to be a player along with this guy winning the second moto, Cole Davies.
Yeah, maybe a little early actually for Davies, who's still learning these tracks. Doesn't have a lot of Pro Motocross motos under his belt, and he's already turned this into a moto win. There is the 2nd place finish for Kitchen, and the 2-2 scores are going to give him the overall. Davies ends up not on the podium because he went 11-1. It'll be Beaumaire 4-3 for 2nd, and Hamaker 1-9. Way to dig it out from the first turn crash to 9th to salvage a podium and continue to hold the lead in the standings. And Shimoda from the first turn crash to 6th in the second moto salvages 5th. Now, Davies does have a moto win in his career. He got one last year at Budds Creek, but that was actually because 2 other riders were penalized, and he got moved from 3rd to 1st. This is a sign that he is indeed a title contender, even though he doesn't, again, have a lot of experience in this series yet. Romano, Voland, Hymas, Mumford, Minier rounded out the top 10 today. And Hamaker had a 13-point lead coming in. It's now a 7-point gap over Kitchen. 1-2 for the Kawasaki so far. Beaumaire, Davies, Shimoda, they're well in it with a lot of motos yet to go. When you combine Supercross and Motocross together, no surprise to see Davies, Supercross champion, is the combined point leader. That would be seeding going into the playoffs. Hamaker 2nd, Deegan dropping down, not racing 250 motocross, of course. Women's Motocross Championship powered by Synchrony, round 1 of the year. These are the highlights. Moto 1 of the season on a Friday afternoon. The defending champ, Lachlan Turner, gets out front early, starts pulling a big lead. It's Taylor McCutcheon, the Australian, and the Kawasaki in 2nd, but the other Australian makes the move.
Yeah, Charlie Cannon, this was the opening lap. Another part, the finish line, Lachlan goes down right after the first lap. She had a huge lead, as you can see. She's going to pick up a motorcycle. There's Charlie, comes in, takes her time, gets on the bike, And then once the number 1 got back on, she was on the charge as she makes her way up inside of Michaela Nielsen for 3rd place to make that move and try to set her sights on the leader. She's going to make another pass for 2nd place right here, but Charlie still had a pretty good distance out, but Lachlan, she kept fighting, she kept coming, and then the first mistake from Charlie is in the next one. She's going to go off the track right here. Look how much time she loses, but not only that, she's going to end up losing some points in the position, ends up gassing it, and in this sport, that is a no-no. You cannot gas it when you're on the racetrack, and unfortunately for her, it's going to cost her the points. But nonetheless, she fights. Lachlan, the next lap, last lap, she's going to go up the inside, make that pass, and come from going down to end up winning this moto for the first WMX race of the year by the champ.
And you can see the frustration of Cannon losing that lead on the first lap. She actually did, as you mentioned, get penalized back from 2nd to 3rd. This is Moto 2 on a Saturday. Kayla Nielsen, a good start here, as well as Piper Bell is going to grab the whole shot on that 167. There is Cannon, who's not wasting time to get to the lead.
No, she wasn't. And one thing I know, we're going to see the different battles, but look how different this racetrack is. How, with that first moto yesterday and then coming out here today in the middle, there was no work done on this racetrack. This track was a lot different, and looked like Charlie Cannon loved that feeling because she was able to get out front, and as Lachlan able to make her way into 2nd place, but you don't really see Charlie because she got that lead, and then she stalled the motorcycle in the corner. So first mistake allows Lachlan to go, but Charlie wasn't done. She gets past, she slides back to 3rd place, going to go down the hill, but makes quick work of Michaela Nielsen, and then the battle was on, and they fought tooth and nail. And watch this, she's going to go to inside. She knows she has to try this jump, comes up short, but I got to love it. This lady, she was sending it. She never gave up, and these two was this close the whole moto as Lachlan loses the rear end. Charlie almost gets to her, but the champ was able to hold on to go 1-1 for the first race, and I suspect this battle is going to continue the rest of the year. What a great ride by both of these girls.
Yes, exactly. If you look at the results, James, it's going to seem like a dominant run for Turner because she has the 1-1, but it was all over the place as far as the battles. Cannon is credited with a 3rd again in that first moto with the penalty, and a 2nd in Moto 2. Nielsen on the podium with a 2-3. Jarvis and McCutcheon, the Australian jumping into the American racing for the first time, ends up finishing up in 5th. But a long way to go in a 6-round championship, just 1 race down for WMX. All right, let's break down this 250 class here. Well, I guess the luck couldn't work forever for Seth Hamaker. Everybody else has had good motos, bad motos, good starts, bad starts. He made it 4 races in, and then finally had his own adversity to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I don't think that's bad luck. I mean, I think Seth was lucky to not get injured in that. That crash was pretty gnarly. We saw some guys not finishing it, and he rode great all day long. I think he rode even better than he did last weekend. But to me, this 250 class, there's 3 riders that I would say pretty equal. You got Levi Kitchen winning overall today. He has that speed. Seth showed a lot of speed that first moto, but then Cole Davies, to hear him having bike problems that first moto, that was the reason he faded back. How easy he won that 2nd moto, and coming off a Supercross championship, I think Cole is going to be here to play. And then you got Joe Shimoda right underneath there, along with Julian Pamir. So the 250 class is starting to come down to 3 riders at this point. But one thing I will say, because of what happened with Seth, I think it allows guys like Chance Hymas to figure out what's going on. Because of Seth and his issues, Levi and his issues, the points haven't gotten way worse compared to his results. It is allowing him to go, and we know how good he is at the next track we're going to.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like, Davies has had his ups and downs, and he's 15, 16 points down, and same thing. Hymas, Shimoda, they had motos they'd like to have back, and they're still well in it. And it'll resume next time out at Thunder Valley in Colorado. I'll show you the track map in a moment here. Thunder Valley brought to you by Toyota. Totally different types of conditions here. And let's see what it looks like with that Yamaha track map.
Yeah, this track is night and day difference compared to this racetrack. A lot of up and down hills, but altitude, so that would be one thing. The bike's going to be slower, but normally have these long ruts depending on the different layouts. This track can be really rutted, or it can be kind of hard. So got to wait to see when we get there. But if I'm Chance Hymas, my season I have to win next weekend to really not only keep these points, but really start to believe. And last time we were there, he had a dominant race. So we might have another winner in 3 races, and we have somebody else showing up as well that knows how to win some races as well.
Yeah, we'll have some guests with the Coonan twins showing up. We'll get to that in a moment. I want to drill down on Hayden Deegan. Look, now he's suddenly, and I'm in the learning mode. He was talking a big game before the series began. It's been very quiet on the other side. They're not giving him any bulletin board material over on the Lawrence brothers or Honda side. But for him to start with the brothers in the first moto and ultimately end up third, is that progress compared to last week? Or is that, oh, I got a lot further to go than I thought?
Well, I mean, as a realist, I think Hayden realized that last weekend.
Oh, okay.
You know, like he was there, but the starts cost him. He was 4th and 5th, but I think they kind of knew that. And then today, you know, he tried, but just the level of Jett and Hunter, they were at a different level. And I got to believe, like as an ex-racer, just some of the comments that was made is probably what makes a guy like Jett and Hunter really motivated to kind of make that gap and really kind of attack Hayden. Because to be honest, as a rookie, second race, he gets on the podium, he beats guys like Chase Sexton, all them. No comments, Hayden rode great. You know,
yeah.
He's doing the good things. But because of those, I know Hayden wants more. And I know that first race, if it was me, that would kind of hurt, you know, just the way it kind of went down. And but if anybody can do it, Hayden Deegan has the talent and the heart. He's got to go to work because those guys they're a lot better right now.
They are, and they've been a lot better than everybody else for a long time now. That's a very, very high bar, and there's more talent coming in with the Coonan twins out of Belgium, who are the championship leaders in what is essentially the 250 and 450 class in MXGP. A guest appearance next weekend. Let's go to JT with more on that.
Yeah, the job's not going to get any easier because I think a lot of people are going to be shocked and surprised at who these kids are, and they're really young. They're younger than Hayden Deegan, and they're both leading their respective championships in Europe. And, you know, you want to say this has kind of come out of nowhere for each of them, but it really hasn't. They've been winning races and at the front for a very long time. You're going to see Sasha there, who's leading the MX2 class, which would be the 250 class here in America. And Sasha is all about speed, and he is a type of rider, James. We talked about this, that crash or win mentality. He only wants to win, and there's a twin brother who's about a foot taller than him, Lucas, who is winning the MXGP class, which is the 450, their premier class, besting the likes of Jeffrey Hurlings, Tim Geiser, Roman Fevre at only 19 years old, and he moved up early and immediately became a championship factor. So for guys in both classes, I think they're in the midst of their own championships. They're not going to be super concerned with these Coonan brothers on a full-time basis until 2027. But I think they're going to be opening some eyes next weekend, and these kids have a lot of pace. And we'll see if they can manage expectations because their championship concerns now are still in Europe. In 2027, that will shift full-time to America. So how much effort do they give? How much risk are they willing to take? But I'll tell you on the front end, having watched both of them race for a very long time, say that at 19 years old, if they're not up front or close to it, I will be shocked. They are that level of talent. They are ready to go fight with the best of the best, and I believe that will start next weekend.
And I want to give one other detail that is going to help them. One of the problems when the riders come over here is the very limited practice time to get used to the tracks. But this was not because the Coonan brothers were coming. Because of the elevation at Thunder Valley, teams are always fighting to be on the press day list. They only let a couple of teams and riders come to the race every Friday. I heard it was Mitch Payton that said, why don't you just let all the teams, instead of fighting over it, let all the teams and riders participate on Friday just at Thunder Valley to get used to the elevation. That decision was already made, so that's going to give the Coonan twins an entire day of riding Friday that they normally wouldn't have to learn the track. So, JT, that could be a factor as well.
Well, and just getting to know them over the last few years, you know, their dad is all about, hey, more effort equals more results. So to your point about getting more time in, they're flying out. They're in Latvia this weekend. They'll be racing in a few hours time, you know, a 9-hour time change or 10-hour time change there. Immediately after the race, they're on their way to Southern California so they can get there and practice a full day in Southern California before then flying on to Colorado to practice again on Friday. So I would guess they'll be pretty acclimated. They want to get used to the American chassis, the American motorcycles. There's different fuel, there's different frames. There's a lot of things that they need to acclimate to, not even mentioning the altitude that you guys mentioned. So we shall see how all of this goes, but it's going to be one extra wrinkle in a series that is full of surprises so far.
Here's how you can watch that Toyota Thunder Valley National as SMX Round 20 will begin with Race Day Live qualifying coverage at noon Eastern on Peacock, and then the racing begins at 3 o'clock, and there will be a live window on NBC that will start at 4 p.m. That'll be the second 450 moto and the first 250 moto. So you will see the 450 overall winner live on NBC, or just stay with us all day long on Peacock or outside the United States. Probably some fans of the Coonan brothers will be watching on the SMX Video Pass, which is 50% off now. So 50% through the season. So sign up now. Going to be really exciting next weekend, and that's not just because of the Coonan twins. It's because of this dynamic 250 class. And Lawrence v. Lawrence again, making things interesting in the 450s. Really curious to see if Jorge Prado can bounce back and claw some points back. Where will his motivation be next weekend with his pseudo teammates from Europe coming on over to race against him? Levi Kitchen, maybe a little underreported what level of a comeback win this is for him. That has got to feel good. Hasn't won since 2024. And of course, you know the story. Big injury, big comeback, big win with Jett Lawrence. Thanks for watching Pro Motocross from Hangtown.